Turkey's turquoise coast. It's a seaside playground, and the town of Antalya is steeped in history dating back to 150 BC. Incredible sights such as the Roman Gate, the amphitheatre and these ancient markets make it a hotspot for tourists from all over the world, searching for culture, a break, and a bargain or two. Not today though, as we're here for the start of the new World Archery outdoor season and the first Hyundai Archery World Cup. Well, it's beautiful here in Antalya for stage one of the Hyundai Archery World Cup season of 2022. Fantastic conditions here on Konyaaltı Beach. As spring turns to summer, we look down the range in search of some new champions this season. Well, the windsock there looking fairly calm, but it has been a bit blustery here. Just touching on 20 degrees Celsius. We're expecting some good shooting and some high scores on Compound Saturday as we get straight into the team medal matches. Women's team and men's team gold, followed by both the bronze and the gold mixed team medal matches. Well, as I said, we're on Konyaaltı Beach, and here is the rundown for the women's compound team gold medal match. The host nations, Turkey, take on Germany. As a little earlier in the week, Estonia claimed the bronze medal. Athletes out onto the field of play. Let's go down to the shooting line for the compound women's team gold medal match introductions.
On target number 1, representing Turkey, Yeşim Bostan Uçar, Emine Rabia Oğuz, and Ayşe Bera Süzer. On target number 2, representing Germany, Julia Boemke, Franziska Goppel, and Caroline Landesfeld. The line judge for this match is David Catalan.
Well, we're getting straight into it here. I'm Karim Bashir. It's my pleasure to bring you this live coverage of the new season. And joining me, our resident expert, former world number 1, Nikki Hunt. Nikki, Turkey will be pleased with this lineup.
Yeah, they really will. Some quality we're going to see today. We're right on this beach, so conditions could be variable. Let's see what happens.
We're going to get straight into it. The team compound women's gold medal match. Turkey facing Germany. And Turkey up to the line with Ayşe Süzer to get us underway.
Points.
Well, Nikki, it's the start of the season, start of this team gold medal match. Just remind me, how does the team scoring work?
Okay, so we are shooting 4 ends, 6 arrows. So each team are going to shoot 1 each. You can see the first rotation happening here. We're then going to alternate to the other team. So 2 lots of that, and it's raw score.
A trio of 9s for Turkey. A bad start. Potential maximum of 30 through that first rotation, just dropping a point each as we move over to the Germans. And Landesfeld.
10 points.
Really good start from them. Looking strong, aren't they? Composed. little bit more shaking. Just see that backhand. The release aid wobbling a little bit, the nerves straight in the 10.
We move back into the Turkish team, the second rotation. 2 targets to shoot out. Both teams put their first 3 arrows into the first target. Turkey and Oyuz now looking at target number 2. Trailing by 3 at the halfway stage of this first end.
9 points.
See the blind over the left eye, just making sure everything's happening from the right side. Perhaps an archer who's not so dominant through that right eye.
9 points for Germany.
Well, a cumulative score in compound archery, but this first end, Germany with a chance to take a 4-point lead here.
Lots of nerves, lots of shaking.
It still gets a 9, and they lead by 3. There was a chance there for a very big lead for Germany. I know it's only the first end, but a 5-point lead potentially for them was well, potentially match winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, and the conditions are really still so far this morning, so that can make it really tough to make gains. Like if you get a massive lead here, to come back in really still conditions is less easy. When we see the really variable winds, which we do sometimes here in Turkey, then the lead can switch, because if you get hit by some wind, you get pushed off and shoot a lower arrow value, then things can turn around quite quickly. But Turkey got a lot to do here.
Yeah, 3 points, not as bad as it could have been. This German team looking very strong. Lands fine with the blind over her left spectacle. But as things stand, Bonker, Gopal and Landers-Fine leading by 3. We go to the second end, and the trailing team, let me remind you, will shoot first. So it will be Turkey. Start of end number 2 right here on Konyaaltı Beach in Antalya. And the host nation Turkey, trailing by 3, will shoot first and need to start to eke down the deficit, trailing by 3 points in the second end of this gold medal match.
10-9 liner. Nine points.
Under the 10 finally. Got to stay there now.
10 points.
Quite a long hold on that shot, so they've got about 20 seconds to shoot their arrows basically in this team round. They can use that time as they want to. We've got the first rotation of 3 arrows. It doesn't matter if they go over or under on that first pass through, and then the clock will restart with what time they've got left with that 2 minutes on the second 3 arrows. So you've got to keep a little bit of an eye on that clock. Just see that arrow sat on that launcher blade.
10 points.
Just looking at the different styles of shooting. So that first archer up with the thumb release, she tends to, you know, I'm going to say it, punch pretty quickly. A fast shooter.
There you got it. The first one of the season. Got out your punching.
The second archer rotation we can't quite see, but she's on a back tension. She's just pull in. Straight to 10. See a blind over the right eye just to block the sun coming in, so you can see well. I mean, these archers are looking through that peep sight. It's in the string, so a tiny little hole in the string that they're looking through to see their magnified scope. And if the sun is in your eyes, that becomes very difficult then to see through those small, that peep sight. As I say, you can see it right in front of that eye that they're looking through the string.
10 points.
We talked about the stars, but if you look at the composure of the athletes, the Turkish team trailing, coming into this, look very still, very steady, very composed. And perhaps other than Gopal in the German team, there's a little bit of shakiness at full draw for both Bonka and Landesfeind.
Yeah, particularly this third archer, we see more of the shaking. I mean, it's just probably a little bit of inexperience being on this finals field. It is, high tension being here. You've got a big screen in front of you as well. You can see there, which you can see that in your eye line as an archer. It can be quite off-putting. So it's all about dealing with these nerves.
Yeah, it certainly is. But at the moment, they have just opened the lead by a single point. We have got 2 arrows that are going to be measured for the Turkish team, though, so it could be that changes as we go down. Can we hear the targets judge? Sounded like one of those arrows has been marked up.
Yeah, I think it's X10999.
Well, massive sport here, archery in Turkey, and in fact this is the home of the Turkish team in Antalya, not far away from this show range, just on the beach in Konyaaltı, just outside the new town in Antalya, an ancient town itself. But as you can see, the high rises in the background, just in front of the mountains. The beach is well, just to the left of the shot that we're looking at the moment. Well, we had confirmation of the scores, and Turkey now trail by 5 points here at the halfway stage.
9 points.
Stan's the most experienced archer of this team. We've seen her in a few finals before. Finished finishing the rotations. Often you'll put your strongest archer at the end of the rotation. Clip the line, that'll probably be starred. It's a 9-star. Really long hold again. She's shooting at that back tension. You see that thumb wrapped around the release end. She just pull in. It just wasn't going off, was it? Great view of the spirit level in the sight there as well, so the archers can see if they're tilting the bow at all. That could send the arrow right or left if you tilt into a side, so you want to keep it nice and straight upright.
10 points.
Well, the jitteriness is making me nervous, but somehow she still manages to get it in the middle of the target.
You know, I was just thinking, she was shaking so much her anchor point looked like it was moving on her face. But, you know, she knows the shot feeling. She's done it so many times before, and all that practice is paying off.
8 points.
Well, door wide open now for Germany with that 8. And let me tell you, they're shooting down a 50-meter range here, so an 8 is a great shot for normal human beings. These archers rarely miss the centre.
9 points.
See the teammate just talking her through the shot as well. That communication between this team is really important. You know, just trying to give some words of advice and just settle your archers down. It just didn't look quite right. You know, when she released, it just looked like the pressures had come off a little bit. We normally see that nice follow through, and to me that back elbow sort of almost came forward a little bit and just lost the pressures.
Ten points.
Oh, despite looking very shaky, it's another 10 for Landesfeind, and Germany in a very commanding position here.
Nine points.
Chance to lead by 9 with just 6 arrows per team left. Inside the final 5 seconds though. Oh, this is close.
9 points.
Well, that buzzer there at the end shows you how close that was. Still managing a 9, but you could hear the coach counting down from 10. And that was literally as Bernka had actually stepped up to the shooting line.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time left. You know, as I say, it's really 20 seconds you get each. But if your teammates use up the time, you've just got what's left. You've got to get on with it. But putting so much pressure on that poor teammate, you know, she's already quite nervous and shaking, and you don't want to be doing that. You want to be giving her enough time. So the other members of the team really got to be a bit quicker.
Well, bespoke equipment, but also the archers with their own trinkets on their equipment. Good luck charms, if you like. All the luck at the moment is with the German team here, putting the host nation under a lot of pressure. Yes, in Boston, trying to talk her team through this one, but it's a rather big lead at the moment. It's provisionally marked as an 8-point lead for the Germans. Possible to turn around, but unlikely.
Yeah, the only thing I think is just something extreme happening here. You know, nerves getting to somebody, a real big mistake, but how likely is that right now? I mean, it's never over till it's over.
Well, we know it will be Turkey to shoot first in the final end. We're just waiting for confirmation of the scores after that third end. Marked provisionally as an 8-point lead for the Germans. And it will be nice Souza to step up to the shooting line ahead of Oyus and Bostan for Turkey, host nation, in a spot of bother here in this gold medal match. Well, 7-point lead for Germany coming into this, and that 10 critical to put a little bit of pressure. Can Oyus follow suit?
Nine points.
Well, 29 out of a possible 30 will make the Germans think. But Nikki, are they really looking at what Turkey are doing?
Ideally, absolutely not. They're just in their own little space, in their own individual bubbles, completing their shot processes and not worrying about what's going on around you. But it can be difficult. Like we said, there's that big screen right in front of them, just to the right of the targets downrange, and there's usually a little delay on it. So as you move, you see yourself move on the screen as well, which is quite off-putting.
Well, that's the first one outside of the yellow for the Germans. You see the wince there as well.
Huge shaking again, really long hold, straight in the 10.
It's hard to believe, isn't it, Bonka? Just trying to compose herself on the shooting line, shaking all around. You're not expecting it to go anywhere near, and then she gets the best shot of the three. They narrowed the gap through the first half, but still trailing by 6 coming into that shot. So 10's the order of the day, and Oyus follows Souza into the 10 ring. Can Boston finish this one off for Turkey with a perfect second half? Yes, she can. So just dropping a single point in the final end, a 2-2-4. Their final score here, 2:30 possible for Germany. Well, a lot of time to get into full draw here. Into the 9, so plenty of room for manoeuvre here. Have they got plenty of time, though? Germany, a 6 for the first gold of the season. Very close, very close. Oh, it's more than enough. The nerves, the jitters were overcome by this German trio of Bonka, Gopal and Landesfein, and they have picked up the compound women's team gold medal match at the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup here in Turkey against Turkey. Germany will be on top of the podium. Well, Nikki, I think everyone here came into this gold medal match thinking, well, Turkey on home soil, strong team, shooting at home. And when I say home, I don't just mean in Turkey. This is where the Turkish team are based. Germany looking very nervy on the line, very, very nervy indeed. But somehow they battled through their nerves and they won that pretty convincingly.
Yeah, they did. They were really strong, weren't they? I mean, Turkey just didn't get started until that last end where they shot that 59. That's what they're capable of, and they just came in too late to this match. But yeah, congratulations to Germany. Great shooting. They managed their nerves, which you do expect in these conditions. You do get nervous, that's okay. And they shot better today. The better team.
We get a look back over this, and you can see the shaking there of the Germans, the nerviness as they stood on the shooting line. A couple of times they ran down the clock almost to 0, but they've done it here. They've taken the gold medal in the compound women's team competition, the first gold medal of the new season, going to Germany. Turkey picking up the silver medal. They will be on the podium here on home soil. You can see how much the partisan local crowd are getting behind Turkey, but it wasn't enough in the end as Germany's Bönke, Gopal and Landesfein picked up the gold medal in the compound women's team competition.
Congratulations, gold medal here in Antalya. What a start to the season.
Tebrikler. Bu başlangıçta bizim hepimizin kazanacağı ve size başarılar diliyoruz. Ne hissediyorsunuz?
It's a good start to the season. How do you feel?
Well, it was great to shoot here in a nice venue, and we shot great, so everything was fine.
Her şey çok güzel, çok mutluyum, kendimi çok iyi hissediyorum.
Okay. First time in a finals arena, I believe, for you. What was it like shooting in Antalya next to the beach here and in such a big stage?
Bu kadar büyük bir yerde, bu atmosferde, bir sahil yanında, plaj kenarında, Antalya'da atış yapmak size kendinizi nasıl hissettiriyor?
I think it was great. I was very nervous, but yes, we shoot and now the gold medal.
Evet, çok mutluyuz, çok gururlu ve heyecanlıyız aynı zamanda.
You shot the last arrow, the winning arrow. You were shaking quite a bit at full draw. Nerves. How did you manage to get that in the middle?
Evet, biraz böyle bir titreyerek heyecanlı bir şekilde bir atış oldu. İzledik, gördük. Nasıl anlatırsın bize bunu?
Yeah, we practiced a lot, and I was always shooting the last arrow, but this time it was special. Yes, we all were nervous, but it somehow worked out. I don't really know how, but yeah.
Evet, bu sefer biraz heyecanlıydık. Gerçekten nasıl oldu bilmiyorum ama evet, yani heyecan buna etken oldu.
Congratulations again.
Çok teşekkürler, tebrik ediyoruz tekrardan.
Well, you can't get more honest than that, can you? I mean, what a great trio that is of German archers there. We were nervous. We can't really explain how we managed to win it, but we did. I mean, if they can't explain it, how are we going to?
The hours and hours of, training, preparation, everything they've done and lead up to this. Like, it's normal to be nervous on this field, and I don't think anyone should think that they'll ever get over the nerves. And if you do, you probably don't want it enough. So, great interview from them explaining that.
Yeah, it really was. They were very honest about it, but I think the main thing for me is they kept their composure with, and you were saying just as I was doing that interview, you were saying to me, the clock was so much the important factor for the Germans in the end.
Yeah, they almost put the pressure on themselves, didn't they? They had such a big lead, but there wasn't much time left to make those arrows, within the timer. So, yeah, I think as a team they've just got to work together a little bit more, make sure they're getting their arrows off in a reasonable time, just to take the pressure off that poor last archer a little bit more.
Yeah, well, we're looking down across Konyaaltı Beach here as the Turkish fans in the stadium start to build up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the compound women team
Now
begins.
prepare ourselves for the first medal ceremony of the season here in Antalya. It's time for the medals to be awarded to the 3 teams who will take to the podium the first time in 2022 at a full international.
Medals will be presented by Turkish Archery Federation President Mr. Abdullah Tokoloğlu. Flowers will be presented by Turkish Olympic Committee Secretary General Ms. Neşe Gündoğan. Bronze medal representing Estonia.
Well, first medals of the season for the compound women's team. And the bronze goes to Estonia. Giselle Yatma, Mary Marita Pass, and
Mary
Tetzman.
Marita Pass. Mary Tetzman. Silver medal representing Turkey.
Well, they made it all the way through to the gold medal match, but in the end they didn't quite do enough for the title. But they'll look back on this first circuit stage happy with the silver medal. That's the Suze Emine Oyuz and Yeşim Bostan from Turkey on home soil collecting silver.
And gold medal representing Germany.
Well, it wasn't the most convincing of victories. They admitted afterwards that they were very, very nervous, but they did more than enough to take the first title of the season. Compound women's team gold medal goes to Germany's Julia Bonker, Franziska Gopal, and Caroline Landesfein.
Julia Bonker.
Well, medals presented to the three teams. Estonia with bronze, Turkey with the silver, Germany with the gold medal. It's time to celebrate with their national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to our athletes.
Well, that's it for the compound women's team medal ceremony.
Coming up next.
Dusted off the cobwebs here for the archers as we take a look at the final rankings. Germany top of the order from the host nation Turkey, Estonia picking up the bronze medal, beating France in that playoff. Done a great job here in Konyaaltı Beach. Very tight conditions. As we take a look back over Germany taking gold in the compound women's team competition. Nervy moments for the three athletes, but they did enough to take the first title of the season. Able to blow off the nerves, to smile as they listen to their national anthem. New season is now fully underway. Germany collecting the first gold medal. Well, celebrations here for the German team.
Please welcome the coaches and judges to the field of play.
Of course, the obligatory selfie. Time now to move on to our second gold medal match as we move to the compound men's team gold medal.
For the compound men's team's gold medal match.
Time to go for gold here on Konyaaltı Beach on the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup here in Antalya. It's France versus India for the men's team gold medal match on compound Saturday. The Indian team in the crowd, ready for the introductions of the two teams.
Aman Saini and Abhishek Verma. On target number 2, representing France, Quentin Barret, Jean-Philippe Bouge, and Adrien Gontier. The line judge for this match is Marine Haas.
Well, time for the compound men's team gold medal match between France and India. India lining up with Rajat Chauhan, Aman Saini and Abhishek Verma. France with Quentin Barret, Jean-Philippe Bouche, or JP as he's known on the circuit, and Adrien Gontier. France in white, India in blue. Gontier looking on, ready to get this gold medal match underway. Introductions were all smiles from the French team. Look at the determination on Gontier's face.
Team France starts with 8 points.
Bit of a long hold and a bit of a movement there just as he released. Just got to get settled into this match.
Yeah. 9 points.
These archers have just come off a practice field, which is literally to the right of them now. So it's very similar conditions, exactly the same direction, right on the beach here. Their sight should be well set.
10 points.
We switch over to the Indian team for their first 3 arrows. It's the big man up first.
Nine
We're
points.
putting it into the 9. Now, he's usually quite cheery on the shooting line, but he looked very serious on the introductions.
First event of the year, getting serious now, isn't it?
Yes.
8
A lot of
points.
changes in the Indian team, some new faces in their group, so
Saini shooting second, and this is Chauhan.
10 points.
Well, you talked about communication a little bit earlier. That really was very critical there to getting into the centre.
yeah, the first two archers going right, just communicate to your teammate, and he's obviously made enough changes to get it right in the centre.
10 points.
Much better from them now. They need to stay in this 10, put the pressure on. Shooting over 50 metres, and men's compound, you know, mostly shooting in the 10. If you drop into the 9, you're effectively dropping points.
Solid, really solid from France. 8, 9, and then 10 for the final 4 arrows. India matched them through the first half. They found the middle too.
Again, India responding now as well, also in the 10. So that big yellow kisser button on the string, it's a reference point, so the archer knows they're in the same place every time.
Well, limited the damage there with a 10, trailing by 1. India after the first end. Both teams improving through that first end, with France leading by a single point. Nikki, do you think that there were any weather conditions at the beginning to affect the archers, or whether they were just getting used to the weather and the wind?
Difficult to say. That there is that barrier between us and the practice field to the right, so whether that barrier is stopping any wind that might be there, but it looks so still as to why they might have gone right. So if there was a breeze coming off the sea, you know, now whether that's been stopped by this barrier, so that would make sense that it might go a little bit right. But I mean, look at the French team. The first arrow from Gontier, he just looked nervous, didn't he? And he just didn't look settled. It's so hard to replicate these conditions and pressures in your practice environment. This is the first World Cup of the season, so I think it's just a case of both teams just settling into this, and obviously got more comfortable in that second part of the end.
The score is confirmed. France is leading with 1 point.
Oh, as you heard it, France leading by 1, so the score's confirmed. India will shoot first. You could see, if you look at the trees, the palm trees, the beautiful palm trees here. As the temperature climbs here, the conditions are very, very calm and very still. Very unlike Antalya, very unlike the normal blustery conditions we get from this coastal venue. And you start to see the flags just fluttering as the wind comes in off the coast on the right-hand side of your screen. And the key thing here is, will the conditions remain the same? Archers don't mind wind as long as it's consistent. India trailing France by a single point, second of 4 ends here.
Feel pretty settled in now, don't they? Confident, straight in that X-ring. Just see that, how that arrow sits on the launcher blade.
9 points.
Chand anchoring the team for India, shooting third, just dropping a single point as we switch over to Gontier and France.
I think he knew that, just wasn't dead on the centre as it went off. You see him trying to swing his arm a little bit, just wasn't enough, just outside the 10.
Yes.
Allez là. Allez Jean-Philippe. Yes.
7 points.
Well, nothing between the two teams. And Nikki, it's interesting as we look at the styles of the Indians and the French. The Indians all go into full draw high and then drop down into the final position, whereas it looks like the French actually draw from the outside and to bring the bow and the string across their face.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, different individuals can have different styles. As long as the front hand and the back hand are level, that's the rules in world archery. So the trajectory of the arrow is always level, and that's fine. You can be kind of eye level, something like that. Sometimes it helps just set the front shoulder. The pressures are running down through the arm and keeping that front shoulder down as you draw the bow. And these bows are going to be, the maximum limit they're allowed is 60 pounds. A lot of these men will be shooting up to that limit, 60 pounds. So fairly heavy to draw back for them.
So it looked like they found the middle of the target. 4 9s though, finishing off things for India. So a chance here for not just a lead, but a commanding one for France.
Just keep watching that left eye just open close. I think that's just a nervousness. Compound archers are looking through that peep sight, so very much led by the right eye if you're right-handed.
Well, clip the line, 3 10s to finish things off for France. They saw the opportunity and they took it. And as Berra said, Elan and that indeed for the French. There was that opportunity. We've talked about this in seasons past, and we're going to talk about it this season for sure. It's not just when the opportunity comes, it's whether you can capitalise on it. Very, very promising stuff from the French.
Yeah, like we say, they just had that little tiny bit of nervousness in the first hour or two, but since then they've only dropped 1-9, so pretty good score of 116 so far out of possible 120.
The scores are confirmed. France has 116, India has 130. France
Well,
is leading the match with
confirmed scores. It's a 3-point lead for the French team over India in this compound women's team gold medal match. And a load of Grandjean in the crowd cheering on male compatriots in this gold medal match. Advantage France at the halfway stage. India will shoot first and end number 3.
as the team needed. Got to stick to that now, keep them in the 10 as much as possible. Very quick shot at the 10.
A solid bogey for India.
Look at those feather flags on the right, they're just starting to move a bit more, aren't they? Very quick shot again, and I don't think he's quite centred when these are going off sometimes. Just out to the left.
Yes.
He just kind of hit the wall there and just came back off it a little bit.
Yes.
Well, despite the, well, I'm not going to call it a full redraw, a semi-redraw from Bush hits the 10, but India have clawed back a point through the first half of this third end. I'll need more.
Third points again for India.
They've managed to take 1 point back. If they keep on like this, they've got a chance of getting 1 or 2 more possibly.
Yes.
Suddenly following Verma into the 10. Can Johan do the same? One for a perfect.
Yes.
And they get the perfect 60, the first one of the new season on the podium range, to the delight of Indian teammates in the crowd. Gontier taking a little bit more time, and that's the result.
Yeah, it was a better shot, wasn't it? Just again settling down into it. Normal process.
Point.
Well, that's another point game backed for the Indian team. JP Bush, who takes the longest of the French trio to get to full draw. Needs a 10 to limit this to a 2-point advantage, and gets the 10. But it is 2 points clawed back from India, subject, of course, to confirmation. But it's interesting, isn't it, that Gontier is shooting very quickly at the beginning of each end. Is it because JP Bush just takes that little bit longer and they're conscious of that, the French team?
It might be, but you know, generally you need to take the time that you need to take, and people have different shot timings. You know, talk about how quickly people load, how quickly people come to their full draw. I mean, a great example of that, Sara Lopez, a really fast compound shooter. So people are different, and how you structure your team, what order you go in, it can be relative to that. We tend to put the slower shooters last, because if they use up all the time at the beginning, it puts loads of pressure on the people then at the end. So get the quick shooters in first, generally speaking, and then the slowest last. You know, they know how much time they've got, and they've got to make that shot in that time. They're getting 20 seconds each, roughly, over their 2 minutes. So yeah, it's communication and working together as a team.
Yeah, it's a time factor, 2 minutes per team per end. Order you mentioned there, I mean that's obviously the timing of the shot's important, but isn't it interesting that the most experienced and the athlete we would know the most, Abhishek Verma, on the Indian team is shooting first and fourth? Is that a bit of a surprise?
Yeah, you know, most experienced archers you can put out first because they're going to start the match. That can be a pressure scenario, and then often they'll go last. You can change your order up between the first rotation and the second rotation. Some putting that, yeah, the most experienced archer first and last. So every team's different.
Well, start of the fourth end, India have got their way back into this one against France, but they're still trailing by 1 and shoot first in the fourth end, and they're very happy with Verma's contribution at the beginning.
Really strong opening again. This is exactly what they need. They've really putting the pressure back on France now. If they can keep this clean, we're in for a hell of a match.
Well, that's the best grouping so far in this compound men's team gold medal match. India 3 10s at the start of the fourth end. Right, it's on. It is on. That is the point regained for India to notionally draw level with France. Pressure all on France now. They need 2 10s to stay level with India.
Yeah, another drop. Gautier just lost that pressure. You almost saw his hand come off his face slightly, and that's why it pointed then the arrow left and that left 9. So exactly how he started the match as well. You know, the pressure getting to him.
That's it, distracted JP Bush here. There's 3 9s for the French team.
I think that was close. I think that was close to the line. Let's see if they do mark it, but it's not started at the moment.
Well, whatever they are, trailing by at least 1 point, potentially 2. Bit of a longer hold from Verma, opening the opportunity back up for France. Potentially France could be on 202, so this could be all square here. That looks like it's clipped the line. The coach there from India shouting out 10, almost trying to persuade the arrow that it needs to be clipping that line. Another one to clip the line. So a 2-3-2. Potentially this is already out of reach. We are thinking about that third arrow from France in the first rotation, though, potentially being a 10 here. But whatever. France need 3 10s now to give themselves a shot at the gold medal. And there's the first one. Well, that's 2 10s from France. Bush needs this and needs the measure to go their way. Oh, that's gone up into the 9, and that is a definite win for India. 2-3-2 is enough for the gold medal here in Antalya. We think that the third arrow from France may well get marked up, but the 9 at the end from JP Bush means that India are confirmed as the compound men's team gold medalists here at the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. Well, the Indians looking very happy there. And there is confirmation of the gold for India. Chawan Saini and Abhishek Verma picking up the first gold medal in the men's division here on Compound Saturday. France collecting the silver. The trio of Berra, Gontier and Bush will be in second place on the podium. Well, a fine example of it's not over till it's over. France leading through the first 3 ends of 4, but India claiming the gold medal with a perfect in the third and dropping just a single point in the fourth to take the compound men's team gold medal at the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup here in Antalya on the turquoise coast in Turkey. And lining up mixed zone for their interview. Let's hear what the Indian team have to say.
It must be an exciting start to the year.
Tebrikler. Bu yılın ilk madalyasını aldınız. Sizi çok tebrik ediyoruz. Nasıl hissediyorsunuz?
Thank you. It was exciting. We were in the first round. We were a little bit behind the other team, but we discuss and we play our natural game, so we win.
Evet, bizim için de büyük bir mutluluktu, heyecanlıyız. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz bunun için ve burada bulunmaktan dolayı çok mutluyuz.
Raja, you delivered the winning arrow, winning 10. A lot of pressure on you with that arrow. How were you able to keep a cool head and shoot it?
Evet, senin için bu gerçekten heyecan verici olmalıydı. Biz izlerken gördük. Nasıl buna organize ettin, kendini nasıl ayarladın?
Every time I shoot maybe last man, then I shoot, I feel every time relaxed and I do my best.
Her zaman kendimi daha sakin tutmaya çalıştım ve elimden gelenin en iyisini yaptım.
Abhishek, we know how much expectation there is on this Indian team looking towards the Asian Games. How important was it to come out, start fast and get an early win?
Senin için buraya gelmek sonuçta sizin kendi ülkeniz için de nasıl hissettiriyor buralara gelmek, bize duygularını ve bu kadar erken bir kazanç ve bu başarı nasıl hissettiriyor?
For sure, this season we are expecting more and we are preparing hard. So this medal goes like a booster for us and maybe we increase more medals in the upcoming event, and for sure our team is good and we are confident about the Asian Games, and let's wait for this the season.
Bunun için bayağı zorlandık. Tabii çok uzun bir çalışma dönemi geçirdik. Kendimize güvenliyiz. Bu konuda ülkemize gururlandırdığımız için çok mutluyuz. Tabii bir daha da yükseltmek istiyoruz başarılarımızı ve galibiyetlerimizin serilerini daha da fazla arttırmak istiyoruz.
Congratulations again.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Teşekkürler, başarılar.
Great to see the honesty again from the gold medalist there. Pressure on the Indian team for sure from the host nation, another big country for this sport, but one thing's for sure, Abhishek Verma usually a lot more jolly than we've seen here today. There's a real serious note to that, And Chris there was asking them about the Asian Games. Of course, Korea aren't here. They're not travelling at the moment for reasons that have been well documented. But of course, they will be at the Asian Games. That's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We all know Korea, they're one of the biggest nations in archery, coming further and further in compound as well over more recent years. So they're going to be a tough team to compete against. But India here, they're getting the experience of this World Cup at high level. Yeah, they had a slow start, but wow, the last 2 ends only dropping 1 point. World class.
Well, it's time for the medals here. The first men's medals of the season. Victory ceremony for the compound men's team here at the Hyundai Archery World Cup. Stage 1 in Antalya, Turkey.
Medals will be presented by Turkish Olympic Committee First Vice President Mr. Nihat Usta. Flowers will be presented by Turkish Archery Federation Board Member Mr. Cumhur Yavaş. Bronze medal representing Netherlands.
Well, the bronze medal here in Antalya for the compound men's team go to the Netherlands. Silpata collecting the first medal. Mr. Perfect, Mikey Schlösser in the middle. And a youngster on the team, Steph Williams, on his first Hyundai Archery World Cup stage team medal here.
Silver medal representing France.
Well, they looked so strong in the gold medal match through the first 2 ends. The halfway stage in the lead, but strong performance from their opponents in the third was enough to turn it around. And France will settle for the silver medal. Quentin Berer, Jean-Philippe Bouche and Adrien Gontier on the second step of the podium here in Antalya.
And Adrien Gontier. And gold medal representing India.
Well, quiet, calm confidence from this very strong Indian team. Took them to the gold medal. And presented now to them. Rajat Chauhan, Aman Saini and Abhishek Verma collecting the first men's gold medal of the new season.
And Abhishek Verma.
More medals, trophies and flowers presented. It's time for the Indian team and the supporters in the crowd to celebrate with their national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to our athletes.
There we have it, the compound men's team medals presented. India top of the pile from France and the Netherlands. And for their podium shot there, what a shot it is as well. Smiles all around. What a start to the season for these three teams. India, of course, the happiest of the bunch with gold. We're in Antalya.
Coming up next will be the compound mixed teams division bronze medal match featuring Croatia versus India.
Well, a great start to this season here on Compound Saturday, here on Konyalte Beach in Antalya. We take a look back over the gold medal match. India, Nikki, looking quietly confident and even saying that in their interview.
Yeah, as it should be. You know, that they took a little while to warm up, first couple of ends, dropping a few points there, but they've really got into that match. They've got their confidence and they've got the first win at this first stage of the World Cup.
Proud moment there for the Indian trio. Verma affording himself a little smile on the podium. That's right for some nice dip there on the turquoise coast. That's the team medals done. It's time to turn our attention to the mixed team competition. And what a bonus we've got for you here. Bronze medal match coming up first between Croatia and India, followed by Colombia versus Slovenia. Last gold in this first session of 4 this weekend here at the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. You can see the flags on the side of the range just starting to flutter, but what's interesting is the conditions aren't identical across even a 10-metre stretch. Fluttering at one end and then 10 metres down the range, very still. Difficult conditions for the archers.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the coaches and judges to the field of play.
Well, time now to turn our attention to the mixed team competition here on Compound Saturday. We start with the bronze medal match. It's time for the athletes to come out onto the field of play. Croatia versus India for bronze.
And now, please welcome the athletes to the field of play for the compound mixed teams bronze medal match.
Time for bronze here in the compound mixed team as Croatia take on India. Croatia number 1, India on target number 2. Mixed team, 1 man, 1 woman. First medal of the season. Let's go down
On
to
target number 1,
introductions.
representing Croatia, Amanda Mljaric. And Domagoj Buden. On target number 2, representing India, Muskan Kiran and Abhishek Verma. The blind judge for this match is David Catalan.
Well, here we go. Teams introduced. Mlinaric and Budin for Croatia go up against Kira and Verma of India. Nikki, an exciting new format here for the archers. Who do you fancy here?
Oh, tough match, isn't it? Bronze. Ooh, could go either way. It's going to be a tight one as always.
Well, we start this compound mixed team bronze medal match between India and Croatia. Indians shooting first, and it's Muskan Kira.
Great start from them, straight into the 10. The shot just looks so smooth, doesn't it? Just builds and builds and builds the pressures, and then it just breaks.
Norwich starting things off for Croatia. Support from Budin. She very quickly steps off the line and released her arrow.
You can see there's two target faces on the targets down there. As long as there's 2 arrows in each face, doesn't matter what order, who shoots in it, which one. Just make sure there's 2 in each face by the end of the end.
10 line liner.
Marked as a 9.
10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3.
10 points.
You can hear the coach counting down on a clock these archers. We're shooting second. Well, chance here for a slender 1-point lead. If Budin can hit a 10 and the measure goes in Croatia's favour. Third arrow for India, potentially could be a 10. What a solid start from Mlinaric and Budin. A guaranteed 40 perfect start for them. India will wait for the target judge to make their call. There we go. Let's see if we can find out what they have to say. Well, I think we got clear indication of that measured arrow being marked down to a 9. And if I'm not mistaken, that's Robert Potts, isn't it, from Great Britain, target judge?
Yes, indeed.
Important job measuring the arrows.
He put a great photo on Facebook before this event about how he separates all his judging equipment into 2 different bags to ensure when he arrives he's got all the technical gadgets he needs.
Technical expert sitting next to me, former world #1, Nikki the Geek Hunt, with all the knowledge for you archery fans. Even knows what the judges have for lunch. Croatia versus India here. India shooting first in the second end.
Continue.
India trailing by that single point. Being marked down in the first end. Start the second with a 10.
Confident.
See how much communication is going on between the team as well. That's really important. Telling your teammate whether the conditions are changing, any problems up there. You can't actually see the flags when you're at full draw. You're looking through that peep sight and scope. So
yeah, you talk about communication. Of course, it is important, especially that the conditions are changing as they always do here in Antalya. Is it easier to be chasing, or is it easier to be in the lead, in your opinion?
It's easier just to stick to your process. Try not to think about anything, honestly. Like, if you can keep your brain on just what you're doing, that is all that matters. Stay away from the outcome. As soon as you think about outcome, process will fall away.
It's easier said than done as the clock counts down again on Verma. They really are running that clock right to the end, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Again, communication of that, counting down that timer. Most archers want to hear 10 seconds to go, and that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so they know that they've got to make that shot within the time.
No time issues for Mirage. She's really quick, isn't she? Gets to a draw, and then it's not long before she releases. It's been perfect so far from Croatia. They have not missed the 10, and they lead by a single point here. Of course, the arrows will be measured, but India starting to climb as well. They dropped 1 point at the first end. It seems so harsh, but it's an important point at the halfway stage. India trail by the point they dropped in the first end.
Yeah, and not only did they only just drop 1 point, I mean, it had to be marked by the judge. It was that close. We're talking millimetres, so nothing in this really. The archer's just checking their arrows, so if they are very close, the chance is that they could hit the back end of an arrow and damage the knock. So when the arrows come back to you, just check over, make sure everything's okay, the fletchings are still stuck down, don't damage the knock.
Yeah, the knock is the part of the arrow that clips into the string on the bow. Of course, if that's damaged as they release the string, it can affect the flight of the arrow, so important to check your equipment in between ends. India trailing by a single point. The two teams near perfect. India just dropping a single point, and it will be Muskan Kira to shoot first in end number 3.
Ten points from Kira.
Just look at the way he puts his thumb on the trigger now, and he's just increasing the pressures front and back. Really lovely balanced shot.
New to the sport, that trigger is the backhand there. So with his thumb at trigger, Croatia dropping their first point of the match so far. So Buden needs a 10 to keep this one level.
10 points.
square. 6 arrows left for each team in this bronze medal match.
Third point.
You already see how he's wrapped his thumb around and he's just pulling.
9 points
Another
for
one
India.
dropped.
So a couple of tens here from Croatia, and they'll maintain that 1 point lead they came into the third end with. Quick shot from Milnaric into the 10. Bit of pressure on Buden now as the match starts to draw to its conclusion. Buden needs the 10 to maintain the lead. Well, they dropped their first point, Croatia. The start of this third end of 4. But India dropping another point to Abhishek Verma, who looked pretty annoyed with himself. Croatia maintained the 1 point lead they had from the start of the match going into the 4th and final end. Subject, of course, to the measure from the target judge.
Just watch his front hand. You know, these fingers on this front hand just tend to move a little bit. Still slightly too shot.
And 118 as India. Croatia is leading the match with 1 point.
See different grips now. The next finger's a little bit further around the grip. Just rest on that right edge.
Yeah, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all type of sport. Each athlete have their own process, their own style, and it is about what works for you. At the moment, it's all working for Croatia. They lead by 1. We go into the 4th and final end, and it's Kirat for India to shoot first.
10 points.
Back to his normal, solid shooting. Needs to stay there.
Yeah, all about composure now for the Croatians. Pressure put on with a maximum halfway through the 4th for India. Croatia leading by 1. Well, they were leading by 1, but it's another dropped point. And emotionally, we're all square. And we definitely will be all square if Buden puts this into the 10. He does, and what a finish we've got on our hands. 1 arrow per archer left in this bronze medal match here at the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in the mixed team competition. Kira of India will shoot first.
You could just see the pressures in that front hand again changing a little bit, and as soon as it went off, she tried to drag that front arm down. She knew it just popped high. Expensive.
Potentially very expensive. Verma looking a little upset with that. Perhaps he knows this one's gone. No pressure then on him for a 10 to finish things off. 9 and a 10 will do it for Croatia. We'll talk about a brilliant shot from Milnaric. She's taken the pressure off a little bit from Buden. He's not dropped a point so far.
9 points.
Commentator's curse or what, Karim?
Hey, it was enough. It was enough. Drops his first point, Domagoj Budan, but it was enough to take the bronze. Croatia will be on the podium here in Antalya, beating India by a single point. Well, how important was that final 10 from Amanda Milnaric? But as I said, Budan hadn't dropped a point up until that final arrow. He'd hit the 10 right the way through. But it just goes to show how important your teammate is.
Absolutely, you know, she had that really long hold on that first arrow to the 9, but yeah, followed it up with a strong 10. You just reset, back to a process, brilliant shot to finish.
And let's hear it for India on their top 4 finish.
And there we have it. Domagoj Budan and Amanda Milnaric pick up the compound mixed team bronze medal for Croatia, and will be standing on the podium a little bit later on in this session.
Coming up next is the gold medal match in this compound mixed team division between Colombia and Slovenia.
Very calm, still conditions here on Kanyalti Beach in Antalya, Turkey. On the turquoise coast for the start of the 2022 Hyundai Archery World Cup season. The first session of 4 this weekend. Coverage as always featuring Compound Saturday and Recurve Sunday. Team matches on the compound day coming to their conclusion. One more to go.
And now, please welcome the athletes to the field of play.
It's time to go for gold again here in Antalya. Stage 1 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup and the compound mixed team. So it's a gold medal matchup between Colombia and Slovenia. We'll go down to the shooting line for the athlete introductions.
On target number 1, representing Colombia, Sara Lopez and Daniel Munoz. On target number 2, representing Slovenia, Toya Ellison and alias Matija Brek. The line judge for this match is Maren Hazen.
So Colombia, I should say, go up against Slovenia. Two strong teams. Colombia have been very, very strong, a traditionally strong archery team. Slovenia climbing up through the rankings. We had 2 superstars, though, lining up first for each team. Sara Lopez, 6 times Hyundai Archery World Cup champion, leading the line for Colombia. She's the world number 1, and her counterpart, Toya Ellison, on the Slovenian team is world number 3. Will be Colombia to get us underway, and it will be the superstar, just 26 years old, world number 1, Sara Lopez.
10 points.
Well, it would be surprised if it was anything other than a 10.
Yes. 10 points for Colombia.
Toya Ellison starting things off for Slovenia.
The first arrow of Slovenia is a 10.
Maja Brink, the 18-year-old. Last year won the World Championships in the under-18 category.
Third point.
Well, you can see why these two teams have made it to the gold medal match. All four athletes in the centre of the target.
Third points from Sara Lopez.
10. Daniel Munoz. Very young looking, a 33-year-old world number 14, reigning world mixed team champion with Sara Lopez. That's perfect start for Colombia. This is incredible quality.
Yeah, like you say, as a reigning world champions, you'd expect nothing less, really. Fairly good conditions here in Antalya. It doesn't get much better than this.
9 points.
A little bit of pressure there on Anish Brink with Ellison dropping a single point. Did just clip the line, so it's marked as a 10 for now. Don't really expect too much to be changed as Ellison makes some minor adjustments to her side. Quality very high. Ellison just dropping that one single point, but she walked away from the line looking like, I know what I did wrong there.
Yeah, that's a good place to be. Sometimes it's just that your sight just wandered off the middle a little bit, went off into the 9, and if that happens, do you know what? It went where you aimed it, so it was still a good shot. It's impossible to think that you can hold dead still. People think, they talk about a dead steady hold, but really, in reality, these bows are just moving around a little bit, and you've got to allow that so that you can be relaxed and not have tension as you're holding the bow. So, yep, she's confident, she knows what to do, she'll come back and shoot better, I'm sure.
Yeah, you talked before about it's impossible to stay steady. You talk about the sort of, if you think about it, the tip of the arrow, if you like, just moving a tiny little bit. But we are talking about millimetres or even fractions of a millimetre, because they make such a big difference from shooting line 50 metres down to the target, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. And if you think you've got to hold dead still, you just create all this tension, and tension actually creates shaking, and then it gets worse anyway. So if you just accept that it's going to float around a little bit, these are machines. They're fantastically accurate bows. So if you just allow that little bit of movement, you relax, just keep your pressures front and back, the shot's going to break. And if it's somewhere in the gold generally where you're aiming, it's probably going to be a 10.
There is Twyra Ellison. Slovenian dropping just 1 point. The lucky charms required for Slovenia trail by just a single point. They are up against a very strong Colombian team. They'll shoot first in the second end. And it's back to Twyra Ellison on the shooting line.
Ten points from Toya. Ten points again.
Almost what we call a long hold for Sara Lopez then. Usually very, very quick. Talking a teammate through the shot. Words of encouragement, keeping it strong.
5 points.
Frank talked about how excited he was to make this final, his first senior final on this stage at a World Cup.
Yeah, very much taking it in his stride, isn't he?
And another 10 comes from Slovenia.
Perfect from Slovenia. Colombia having a perfect in their first end. Lopez's first arrow though in this second going for a measure. Just got a very quick look at it there. It looks like it has just clipped the line.
I would think so, but we're just going to wait for that judge to measure it.
Just saw that left target again. The first arrow, as you can see, has a 9 with an asterisk against it, so it's going for a measure. The target judge will have to decide whether it is touching the line and thus gets marked up, or if it's just outside in the 9. Well, either way, very, very tight match. Is it going to be all square? There is that top arrow.
Looks well into me.
You say well in. It looks more in the 9 than it does the 10, but the most important thing is it's touching the line, right?
As long as the arrow's touching the 9, it's going to be marked up. And even if the judge had to get their magnifying glass out, and they'll look from both sides very carefully. If they can't tell it's out, if they can't see it's definitely not touching the line, then it has to be in. So the benefit of the doubt is given.
Brent, as you say, Nicky, excited to have made his first final, but he looks just calm, solid. It doesn't look like he's in a final, does it?
18 years old, brilliant. You know, no expectations really, no horrible nightmares in his past. It's just get out here and have fun, enjoy it.
Well, as predicted, the arrow was marked up for the Colombians, and they lead by a single point, so it will be Ellison and Brink for Slovenia to shoot first at the halfway stage of this match. They're trailing by a single point to Colombia.
Their points.
These two are a fairly new team with, you know, Brent coming up to the senior divisions now, and we've talked about working together over the last year and how they're starting to gel. I think this is going to be a team to watch the future.
10 points again. Nine points from Sarah Lopez.
Wow, that venue announcer not convinced that that's gone into the 10. Took a little breath before calling it a 9 for a measure.
I think it's in, personally. Again, I think they're just being cautious on this, but we'll have to wait and see.
Adds to the drama.
You know, maybe Sarah Lopez went, oh, let's go see if I can shoot the liners today. You know, like, make it a little bit more interesting.
She's good enough. She's certainly good enough to give that a go. I'm sure she would do that in a gold medal match, but the key thing here is that Brink and Ellison have not missed the centre of the target since that first end.
Left
takes a deep breath, going, Karen, stop cursing these athletes. But the quality, that's the word I'm talking about, the quality is so high that it could be just one drop point that makes the difference between gold and silver.
Yeah, it really is at this level. I mean, these guys are just world-class competitors. Yeah, 1 point, it could be just a couple of millimetres, make all the difference. Big flinch. He thought that was going to go and it didn't. Second attempt, big 9.
Right, that's definitely not clipped the line. In fact, it's close to clipping the line with the 8. So that is a confirmed dropped point for Colombia for sure. My question is it 2 drop points? Nikki, you think that that first one from Sara Lopez was a clear 10 again?
From our view here, yeah, I think it was in, so I'd be surprised if that was called down to a 9.
We'll get a closer look at it here, or we'll get a very close look at it here.
10. 10. 10.
Well, that's that bottom arrow on the left-hand target. That's the one in question. As we look back at Ellison and Brink shooting their arrows into definite 10s. Lopez's first arrow marked for a measure, but it was a 10. It's a teammate's last arrow. Here he is, Daniel Munoz, with a big flinch, dropping the first point for Colombia. And what it means for us neutrals is that this is an all-square match. Just 1 point dropped by both teams here. Colombia versus Slovenia, 119 points apiece, with just 4 arrows left for each team to decide the first mixed team gold medal of the season here on Compound Saturday in Antalya. End number 4, Sara Lopez of Colombia steps up to the line. Who is going to take gold? 119 apiece, Colombia versus Slovenia.
Colombia starts with a perfect 10.
Daniel Munoz looking determined.
He's done well with that because it knocks your confidence a bit when something doesn't quite go right, and he's just been solid, kept that shot flowing, back in the 10.
The telltale sign that in the next shot you're going to see is an arrow in the 10. Now we'll see whether Elias Brink can hold his nerve.
8 points.
What happened there?
A really quick shot, wasn't it? Just went. He was shocked by it though. He was not expecting that at all.
Opportunity. There's another one on the line. Nikki, you may well be right. She's going for. She wants to make the target judge do a bit of work. 10 to put this out of reach. It's in the 9. So we have a match on our hands here. That measure there on the third arrow, the asterisk on the 9, could well come into play here. Ellison and Brink need a couple of 10s to make that measure important. There's the first one.
7 points.
Elias Brink surprised himself with his first shot of this end. That one, though, has gone high, and that looks like it's in the 9, and it looks like the measure is going to be unimportant. Celebrations from Colombia. Of course, it will be important in terms of the final score, but Colombia look like they've taken the gold here. I'm always reluctant to call it until the target judge has called things. But it does look very confident. Squeno is the agent for the Colombians, looking very relaxed at the target end. Munoz and Lopez with smiles on their faces. We heard a couple of 9s called there. Well, the Colombian arrow has been marked up, that is for sure. And there is confirmation. Sara Lopez and Daniel Munoz of Colombia have taken the gold here at the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in Antalya, Turkey. Well, Slovenia looking happy with their silver medal. Elias Brink getting his first outing on a podium range, and he looked pretty solid other than the one shot.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he dropped until that last arrow for him of that last end, so dropped it low in the 8 and then had a high 9. You know, he'll go away, he'll look at this, he'll work on it, and he's going to come back stronger. He's a great athlete, a world champion as an under 18-year-old, so more to come from him.
Well, Colombia, with the fans in the crowd looking on, looking strong, and the Lopez Munoz duo is an incredibly strong unit.
It really is, you know, world champions as well. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of them this season.
I think we will be seeing a lot more of them. We just have a look around here. Conditions looking like they're just changing as we've come through the final bit of action here in this first session on Compound Saturday. This cloud cover just coming over a bit, suggesting the wind has started to blow. We look as Lopez is ready for interview. Munoz joins her. Let's go down and see what the Colombians have to say about a dominant start to the season here in Antalya. They're just getting their final bit of instructions, but it looks like we are ready to go down for the gold medal interview.
Yeah.
In español. Español, right?
Sarah, what a fantastic start to this season. World champions Colombia in the mixed team event, winners at this first stage of the Archery World Cup.
Sara, ne kadar güzel bir başarı bu. Çok tebrik ediyoruz. Ülkeniz adına siz de kendi ülkenizi gururlandırmışsınızdır. Neler düşünüyorsun?
Estoy muy contenta y muy feliz. La verdad que estamos haciendo un trabajo increíble y estamos trabajando muy fuerte en camino hacia los World Games. Venimos de ganar el Mundial, ahora iniciamos el año con una Copa del Mundo y la verdad que muy agradecidos con nuestro equipo y con toda nuestra familia que nos está apoyando desde Colombia.
Evet, kendim adına, ülkem adına gerçekten çok gururlu, umutlu ve mutluyuz. Buraya kadar getirdik, ülkemizde gururlandırdık ve bunun için gerçekten çok çalıştık. Bu çok çalışmanın getirdiği bir emek ve bunun sonucu olarak düşünüyoruz bu galibiyeti. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz, çok mutluyuz.
Daniel, what an incredibly tight match. You were tied going into the final end. It didn't look like you had much of an advantage. How did you keep your cool and deliver the win under those conditions?
Öncelikle çok tebrik ediyoruz. Gerçekten aslında böyle bakılmıyordu, böyle görülmüyordu. Tahmin de edilemez bir şeydi. Neler hissediyorsun?
Bueno, siempre es muy difícil disparar las finales, sobre todo aquí en Antalya. Es un escenario muy bueno, muy espectacular. El partido estuvo muy reñido, muy duro, sin embargo tenemos la experiencia para afrontar estas finales y afortunadamente salimos ganadores en este.
Gerçekten ilk başta ben de bu kadar zor olduğunun bilincindeydim. Bütün ekibimiz bilincindeydi. Bunun için çok çalıştık gerçekten. Çok çaba ve emek sarf ettik. Gururlandırdığımız için mutluyuz, umutluyuz. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz ve gerçekten bu bizim için çok büyük bir gurur.
Congratulations again for such a
Tekrar çok tebrikler.
Well, 3 different languages there on the podium. Grabbed a little bit of what Sara Lopez was talking about, a confident, strong start from the team at the start of this new season, winning the first World Cup, and she was looking ahead to the World Games taking place in Birmingham, Alabama in the USA a little bit later on this year. So they really are focused, they're looking on target. Lopez and Munoz collecting the gold medal in the compound mixed team competition here in Antalya, beating Ellison and Brink of Slovenia. It's Croatia who collected the bronze medal. And that medal ceremony coming up very soon here. The end of our first session of the season on Konyaaltı Beach. 3 more to come. 1 more today. Just over an hour's time, we'll turn our attention to the individual medal matches. But first up, close off this session, we'll present third and final set of medals in the mixed team competition on Compound Saturday. Medal ceremony for the compound teams, concluding with the mixed team competition. If I'm not mistaken, that's Secretary General of World Archery Tom Deelan He's out in the presentation team.
Medals will be presented by World Archery Secretary General Mr. Tom Devon. Flowers will be presented by Turkish Archery Federation board member Miss Elif Altınkaynak Çağlayan. Bronze medal representing Croatia.
Solid performance from Croatia in the bronze medal match. Deserved place on the podium for Amanda Milnaric and Domagoj Buden.
Silver medal representing Slovenia.
Well, it was a high quality final. A first time performance for the man on the right, who stood up well to the pressure but just dropped one arrow in the final. And Slovenia will be happy with silver medal. Toya Ellison and Aliash Brink in second place in the compound mixed team competition. Stage 1 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup.
Gold medal representing Colombia.
Well, they have been the dominant force since the return to competition, and it remains the same here at the beginning of the 2022 season. Colombia's Sara Lopez and Daniel Munoz picking up yet another gold medal. Affording themselves a little smile there after a strong performance. I think you may have heard this tune sometime before.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to all our athletes.
Well, there we have it. First session done and dusted here of the new season. Great place to start. 16th time we've held the Hyundai Archery World Cup stage in Antalya. Brilliant location. They've done fantastically well. Croatia with the bronze in the mixed teams. Slovenia was silver, but Colombia still top of the pile. Nicky Colombia. Look, I think Slovenia look really strong there. They've got new blood with Aliash Brink coming into the team. They are going to challenge this Colombian pairing here of Lopez and Munoz, but still they're the dominant force, aren't they?
Yeah, Colombia stole the show, didn't they? So strong, just dropping 2 points in the whole match, showing why they are the world champions. And I'm sure we'll see more of Colombia and Slovenia this year.
We will see you back here at 2 p.m.
Yeah, for sure we'll see. And there is Munoz on the shooting line as we look back. The superstar Lopez, poster girl of compound archery. Well, poster girl of archery, you have to say. Collecting the mixed team gold medal match with Daniel Munoz. Saw Germany collecting the women's compound team gold, and India collecting the men's team compound gold medal. But these this pairing of Munoz and Lopez looking very strong indeed. Nikki, your highlights for that session?
Yeah, I think the highlight has to be Colombia. They just shot so well, you know, only dropping 2 points, as you said, through the match. And we saw strong shooting from the Germans as well, taking the women's team gold. So I'm just so excited to be back on the circuit this year and can't wait for more.
Yeah, certainly. We look back on the German trio. They did look very, very strong indeed, beating Turkey, their host nation. They looked nervy, but they did enough to stand on top of the podium, and look at all the release of the tension as they collected the gold medal. Well, the men's competition was an interesting one as well. Netherlands taking the bronze medal a couple of days ago. We were treated to an amazing performance from France up against India, and the Indians coming from behind to take the compound men's team gold medal. Switch up in the order for the Indians, with Chauhan there anchoring the team and getting the applause from his teammates in the crowd. Abhishek Verma looking more serious than we're used to on the left there, stood proud on the podium. As you look at the supporters here in the crowd. And there is the men's podium. France on the left with a silver, the Netherlands on the right, India in the centre. But that's it from our first session on Compound Saturday. We don't have long to wait for the second session. It's coming up in just under 2 hours' time as we turn our attention to the final 4 in the individual competition. Thanks to you, Nikki, for your expert opinion. Brilliant to be back. Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back in a couple of hours here on Compound Saturday.